Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be putting together a Croc Man from the Panoceania army for our channel. And what you're going to need is some super glue. I use this medium thick super glue, and you'll need some clippers. I decided to do this video because Infinity models don't have instructions. And that's kind of a bummer because the game's pretty fun, but there's just no instructions on how to build the models. So that might deter people from playing the game or starting. And you know, there's this new trend of games not having models with instructions. And if you're making miniatures and you're a miniature game, you definitely should have some instructions. Talking to you, Marvel Crisis Protocol, because they do not include instructions with their models either. So the models are going to look like this when they come out. You're going to have a baggie full of parts, and then a body and a base. So we use this as our assembly instructions. We just look at the pose and we kind of look at pieces and we figure out what we're going to do. So the first thing to do is to clean the model. So it's going to have all these like flashings on it. From other things, leave the parts on their feet. There might be some parts hanging off it, but leave the bulk of it there. And we're looking for any kind of flashing or pieces that are hanging off the model. This guy looks pretty clean right now. I have had some issues though, like on some of my like Knights of Santiago where they had a scabbard, but then I cut the scabbard because I thought it was flashing because some pieces are really thin. We're also going to dump out this baggie here, and we're going to clean up these pieces. So the gun here, you can see it has like a piece on the end that's not like a sight or anything like that. And then this, believe it or not, is part of the gun, and so is this. These little nubs, those aren't flashes. This is a flash here. And this just off material from when they poured the stuff into the mold. That's what flashing is and stuff like that. So there's like a little nub here, and then all of this, I believe. No. Yeah. You can look at it too like that. Like, see the gun stock ends there, so we can know that this is not part of the gun, but this is. So because you can see it right here. So we got that cleaned. The arm here, you want to clip off that. This is definitely some. This is also. It's like the gates for pouring the material, the pewter in, and just cut off some of that. And then this is a time where you would look at the blade and see if it's straight. In this case it is. It's pretty thick. It's not like a sword where the swords are usually bent. Gun barrels are also bent sometimes too, so you gotta look at those and make sure they're straight. If they're not, just bend them back. This guy I'm going to be using is a crozet in my army because I need a third and I want some variety in like what they look like. So I just bought him. Even though he is a Croc Man, I'm still going to use him as something else. Okay, and then the base. This is one thing you should know about the base. This is the front of the base. This is where the front facing of your guy is. Let's see if I get that. This little mark. And then these two are the sides. So you want to see how he fits in the base. He's going to fit right here. There's a trench right here on the bottom. So you can get an X-Acto knife and cut this out as far as it needs to go, which for me is pretty far. You can just take your guy and then take your knife and then kind of score it with how far it needs to be cut, so you know. And then I'm going to cheat here a little bit. I have this little cool drill press. It's like, if you have one of these, it's an electric one, and I just like to get a head start on it and just drill a bunch of pilot holes in there So that'll make it easier for me to cut it out. And then you can just kind of take it and use it like a drill. So these are really cool. These are on Amazon. They're not that expensive. And just use it to cut all that out. And then you can clean it up with an X-Acto knife or a scalpel, whatever you want to call it. Just clean out all that goo, straighten up the cuts. Watch your fingers, don't slice your hand open. That's how you have a bad day. And just cut that, clean that out. And then just make sure it's nice and square. You can even use your clippers to get some of it. And then we're just gonna test fit him in there and see if he fits, and also use him to kind of break it open more. There we go. And we can cut off this little dangly piece here. And what I like to do is glue them into the base before I kind of assemble them. With some models, it's easier to do this, especially if they have these big plugs in here. But if they have like just little small holes that you have to cut for their feet, then maybe you would want to put the model together first before putting it in here. So I just want to get some super glue. I'm going to put it on the feet. And then on the side of the metal here, because it's going to be touching the plastic of the base. Oop, a little too much. Okay, and then make sure the base is facing the correct way with that little line in the front. And we can put our guy in like that. Then we are going to put the arms on. So there's like little holes there where they kind of line up. You can use an accelerator if you want. I don't like to use accelerant. I feel like sometimes it makes the model more brittle. And they stick together, I feel like, a lot better if you don't use it. But sometimes you might need it for like a lot of little parts. So I'm just gonna put that there. Then we're gonna get the head. Let me just get this. I like to keep my super glue kind of clean so that I can get glue out of it all the time. So just try to keep your super glue kind of clean when you're using it, and that'll prevent you from having to like poke holes in it every time you use it. Okay, and then his head should go. I don't know how his head should go because there is a nub on it, but I don't know if that is it looks like it might be flashing because it's not really fitting. And that kind of goes against what I'm thinking. I feel like it shouldn't be cut off, but we're gonna do it anyway. That's the thing, is sometimes you have to take risks to make things work because it's not as clear as you'd want it to be for some of this stuff. So I think that's good. We just gotta get it in there. Jesus. Probably like that. And hope you don't glue your finger to it while it's happening. And if there's not gluing, then you got to get more glue in there. And this is sometimes when you might need a accelerant. They have like that quick, it's like a spray that you can get for super glue that makes it dry instantly. Or you can use baking soda if you want to. You don't have to use that spray. Baking soda does the same thing, but it's a lot more messy. So the head is on now, kind of. So he's going to be a little bit careful because we don't want it to fall off. And we'll put the glue there for the arm. But one thing I'm going to do before I put this on, I'm going to cut this barrel a little short because it is not a sniper rifle for me. It's just a regular multi-rifle for the guy that I want. So I'm cutting it short to make it be like, oh, it's just a regular multi-rifle, not this big old sniper rifle thing. Ah. And then we'll grab the model and put this right here and just hold it for a couple seconds while it glues. And there we have it. We have ourselves a Croc Man. This guy was pretty straightforward to put together, but I hope it helps you realize that, you know, it's not as daunting as it may seem sometimes to put some of these guys together. But other things might be, right? So we will be tackling other things as we go through this too. I have a bunch of models for this game from different factions, some common ones, some not so common ones, and then just to try to help you guys out and see if you like it or not. So yeah, let me know what you think. As if there's any specific models that you're looking for help building, let me know and I can see if I can find it and get it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.